Hi, my name is Mo Moon. Welcome to my channel on YouTube here, Mo Moon. Welcome to my Gemini Suns. I have a general tarot reading for you today. It's called the Decision Maker Spread. There are 6 cards involved in this Decision Maker Spread for you, Gemini Suns, and each one represents something different. So as I said, there are 6 cards and each one represents something different. So let me go ahead and tell you what each one represents, my Gemini Suns. The first card represents you now. The second card represents this is your focus. The third card represents difficult influences. The fourth card represents this makes sense. The fifth card represents unexpected insight. And the sixth and final card represents the outcome, Gemini Suns. So I'm using my tarot deck, Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. And I'm going to put the cards out one at a time with the subject matter of what they represent down. And I'm going to turn them over one at a time as well. And I'm going to show you what the card looks like. And maybe ask you a few questions about what you feel about the card before I go ahead and give you my insight into how I feel the cards should be read. Remember, there is no right or wrong. If you feel like you look at a card and it means something to you, that could be because your instinct is telling you that perhaps that's something that you should pay attention to. So let's go ahead and get the cards down for you, okay, my Gemini Suns? The first card for Gemini Suns represents you now. The you now card, Gemini Suns. Second card, this is your focus, Gemini Suns. Third card, difficult influences, Gemini Suns. Fourth card, this makes sense. Fifth card for Gemini Suns, unexpected insight. And the last card, the sixth card for Gemini Suns, represents the outcome. So as I said, my name is Mo. I hope you're having a good day. October 13th today, 2020. I hope you had a good day of Thanksgiving yesterday, and I hope that you remember that every day should be a day of Thanksgiving. I know I should take that advice for myself as well, so I'll try to do that. Be thankful every day. So let's go ahead and start reading. I'm going to turn the cards over one by one and show you what they are. For you now, Gemini Suns, we have the 10 of Cups. For you now. So how do you feel when you look at this card? What does this card make you think about, Gemini Suns? How does this card make you feel when you think about what it represents to you? So for you now, there is that idea of, in my opinion, there's joy. There's that idea of everything being complete and happy and good the way it is. Really seeing, past the clouds and the rain and picturing the rainbow after the rain. It doesn't mean that you haven't had hard times, Gemini Suns. It means that you have, just like the rainbow comes after the rain. Joy comes after hard times of work and getting through difficulties. And there's the 2 children dancing there, and there's the 2 partners with their arms side by side interlocked. And there's a house in the background and beautiful landscape. And of course, there's that rainbow with the 10 cups interspersed in the rainbow colors. And so it could also represent, as we've been seeing the rainbow a lot here in Montreal, Quebec, we've been seeing a lot of the rainbow signifying that it will all be okay. And so perhaps for you now, this is your outlook on life. You have a very positive outlook on life, Gemini Suns. You're really seeing that even though there are difficulties in life, there are things to be happy about. There are things to be joyful and thankful about, as we've just celebrated the celebration of Thanksgiving. It's really about giving thanks for what you have, for where you are in life, for the little things. It's a nice way to start off a reading. So this is your focus, card number 2, Gemini Suns. Oh, okay. I'll show you the card. So we have the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. This is your focus. So how do you feel when you see this card? I'm going to put it right side up so you can look at it right side up. How do you feel when you see this card? When it says this is your focus, do you feel like there's a lot of budgeting involved? Do you feel like there's a lot of making sure that what needs to be allocated to where it needs to be allocated at the right time is involved here? Because as you see, the individual in this card has one pentacle for each foot, one for his head or her head if you're a female, and one for over their heart, and both hands are intertwined around the pentacle there. So it's really about budgeting. I see a lot of budgeting in this card. I see a lot of also saving, perhaps saving for necessities, saving up for a rainy day, being careful about where you're spending your money, being very logical. Perhaps with the 10 of Cups being family, also you're being logical about where you're spending your money in your family situation. Almost like this person has their back on the world, like as if even though there are a lot of things that you could want or could buy if you allowed yourself to, it's almost like you have the discipline to allow yourself to not have to focus on everything that you want. But I think that the fact that it was in reverse, if you remember, it's just showing a sense of self-discipline. I think with this card, it's not so much about being miserly and keeping everything for yourself as much as it's allocating the funds to where they need to go. I'm feeling a lot of family vibes with this Gemini Sun reading. I'm feeling a lot of family vibes. I don't know why. Perhaps somebody who's watching this is thinking about their family and how they are paying attention to groceries and their kids, perhaps winter gear for their kids. I know my sister is a Gemini and she was thinking about how she wants to buy the kids some new winter gloves, and also how she wants to celebrate Halloween with them, and how she would have liked to have bought a couch for herself, but she's being careful to spend her money in the right places. And so perhaps that's kind of where you're at as well, with the you now being the family card, the 10 of Cups, and really that happy, joyful situation. And now with the this is your focus, with the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, really being disciplined and really using the money or your resources right in the right way for what your situation is. Now, keep in mind, this may not resonate with you. Maybe you don't have kids. Maybe you don't have a family. It could just be that right now you're feeling very joyful, but you're also paying attention to where you're spending your money. You almost feel like you're being a little bit of a Scrooge with the fact that you're not being as giving with other people the way you wanted to be, the way you usually would be. But maybe right now with COVID, it could be that you're making less money. It could be that you're making less money. It could be that even though you have a giving heart, Gemini Suns, that you really have to be more careful about where you're spending your money and how you're being a giver. The next card we have is Difficult Influences. Card, the 10 of Swords in reverse, Difficult Influences. So this is what the card looks like right side up. And for difficult influences, you've been through a rough time. I'm going to say that because that's kind of obvious. But I forgot to ask you how you feel when you look at this card. It was up right side. It was upside down. Sorry for my confusion. It was upside down, but I'm showing it to you right side up because I want you to be able to picture what this card looks like. So this is difficult influences. So it's almost like with the swords representing the mind, how do you feel this would play out in your mind if you thought of this card as a mind card and you saw this card with the person lying there with the swords, the 10 swords in their back? How would you feel this played out in your life for difficult influences for you, Gemini Suns? I think it's almost a little bit obvious that you've overdone a certain situation where you had to think a lot about it, almost to the point where you're flogging a dead horse now. It's almost like the idea that you're so done thinking about it and you realize that you're flogging a dead horse. And I'm sorry if that's some sort of bad thing to say, but it's just a means to say this thing that you have been thinking about is done and over with, and you know that you don't want to think about it anymore. But the fact that it's in reverse could mean that you're still thinking about it for difficult influences. But this card is there to tell you that you can make the decision to lay that to rest. Whatever it is that you've been overthinking, perhaps the way you looked at somebody at the grocery store, or perhaps, you know, it could be something really really simple, but something very different that you've been thinking about, something very difficult for you to be thinking about, something that almost was disastrous for you in a way, thinking about it, because this person is lying there with 10 swords in their back. But also there's that idea that there's a new dawn coming over the horizon, and it's, if you let go of that situation of overthinking, it's almost like the new horizon is going to come about, because you do have the 10 of swords for difficult influences, but I feel like because it's reversed, it's almost like you're having a hard time letting go of this thinking situation, Gemini Suns. I don't feel the flow of the reading yet, but perhaps it will come. The fourth card for you, Gemini Suns, is This Makes Sense. So we have the Ace of Swords for This Makes Sense. So how do you feel when you see the Ace of Swords? Do you feel a sense of empowerment, Gemini Suns? Do you feel that when you look at this card, a sense of empowerment, a sense of being able to stand up for yourself and really fend for yourself, really wield that sword to your defense, really wield it to your betterment, to your success? I really feel that with this Ace of Swords for you, Gemini Suns. With the This Makes Sense for you, it could make sense for you because of the fact that the 10 of Swords that you had for difficult influences, the fact that you're having a hard time letting that go could be because with the This Makes Sense card, they both are swords. This is the 10 of Swords and this is the Ace of Swords. So perhaps right now you're actually letting go, but you're having a hard time because you are using your mind so profoundly that you are actually just kind of making the rounds over everything that you've been thinking about in the past little while, and really putting to rest what needs to be put to rest, and really defending yourself on those points that you need to be defended on. I really feel a lot of good communication for you, Gemini. Even though Mercury is retrograde at this time, I really feel like you being air signs and that sense of communication means that you're still able to get what you want to say out. Of course, you can think about it. You can use your words in creative ways. If you have a hard time speaking what you want to speak because of Mercury retrograde, use your words in creative ways like you can. You are able to do that because you are air signs. You are able to use creative ways of creating pictures to make things known to people. So if somebody doesn't understand something that you're trying to tell them, use a word picture to create that symbology for them to be able to understand, because you have the Ace of Swords with the This Makes Sense, which means that you really are like crowned. The crown is on the mind. So you're really using your mind with the most power. You're really using your mind with the most ability. There's water and earth and air. And I think with the swords being the Ace of Swords could even represent a little bit of fire, a little bit of passion behind the ace. That idea of being able to really use that gift given to you, that gift of using your mind to express yourself, to think, to act on what you think and how you want things to come together for you. For the next card, we have card number 5, Unexpected Insight, Gemini Suns. You have the King of Wands, and there we go with that element of fire. The King of Wands. So how do you feel when you look at this King of Wands? This card represents unexpected insight. Do you feel like a desert? Do you feel like sort of like an arid desert? Really fiery, really full of life. I feel like with the gecko, we see that there's a little bit of life there. With the branch, there's those buds coming from the branch, that life. Even though sometimes we don't see life forms in the desert, there are always those specific life forms that actually thrive in the desert. And the King of Wands is that person who thrives in the desert land, in that fiery, dry space. And so perhaps with you right now, this is something that's going to benefit you with the Knight of Wands. I'm sorry, I didn't ask you what you feel when you look at this card. This card represents unexpected insight. So how do you feel when you look at this card, Gemini Suns? I feel like you kind of feel out of your element with the King of Wands, just because Wands is not the same thing as swords. And Gemini, you are an element of air, which is also known as the suit of swords. So with the King of Wands, it could be like, I feel like a lot. I feel like a lot when I see this card for unexpected insights. I feel like there's a lot of newness in your life, a lot of new capability to see things in a different way with the King of Wands, a really sense of being able to make decisions, but in a way that you never thought you were able to do so. So really a new sense of creativity, a new sense of willpower and drive, a new sense of being able to control who you are through the element of fire, through the element of using your willpower, your drive, your ambition, your fiery new spirit that you have, that you're using with the Ace of Swords. And I really feel like with the Ten of Swords in reverse being difficult influences, it almost brought about this King of Wands unexpected insight for you, because you had to learn to revive yourself and really start over afresh. And so perhaps this King of Wands is that new sort of person that you are kind of tapping into to really get yourself through in this next little while. So the last card is the outcome. So perhaps that will bring this all together for us. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So how do you feel about this Wheel of Fortune for the outcome? How do you think this represents your reading? So we had the Ten of Cups. We had the Four of Pentacles in reverse. I'm going to show you them all. So for this, we had the Ten of Cups. For this is your focus, we had the Four of Pentacles reversed, Gemini. For difficult influences, we had the Ten of Swords reversed, Gemini Suns. For this makes sense, we had the Ace of Swords. For unexpected insight, we had the King of Wands. And then for the outcome, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like this really closes out the reading really well. If there's anything that you need to know as far as being able to make a decision, it's that karma is on your side. Lady Luck is on your side. With you now being the Ten of Cups and really having that positive outlook on life, I feel like the wheel is going to turn in your favor. So whatever you do, whether or not you feel like the outcome is working in your favor, it is. And it's just to show you that the Wheel of Fortune is working in your favor. That when I see the Wheel of Fortune, I think about cycles happening, but I think about cycles happening in a way that it's almost like you don't really know how it will turn out. And maybe that may sound a little bit like not a good thing, because you don't know how things are going to turn out. Because maybe with the Ten of Cups being you now and feeling like that sense of joy and fulfillment, you might think that, well, there's only one way now and it's further up or going down. But with the Wheel of Fortune, it's there to show you that even if things go up and down sometimes, like the wheel will go up and this will be up and then it will turn and that will be down. You know, like it's that idea that even though sometimes there's confusion in life, there's always an explanation behind that confusion. Okay, Gemini, that's what I want to tell you, is that with this reading, I'm feeling a lot of confusion. I feel like we have Swords, Cups, Wands, and we have Swords, Cups, Wands, and Pentacles. We have all four suits, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune. So there's a lot of balance in your life, because we have each of the suits, and we have the Ace of Swords crowning the reading with This Makes Sense, because I really feel like this Ace of Swords for you, Gemini Suns, represents you really, really well. And when I show you this layout in front of me, I'll show you that the Ace of Swords is at the top, and this is the middle card, the Wheel of Fortune, which is like that hub of this reading. And it's just to tell you that if you remain strong like you are, really believing in the power of you, no matter if the wheel goes up or the wheel goes down, no matter if things turn in your favor or if they turn in a way that you think it's not in your favor, because you have the strength within you, you are the center of that wheel. No matter how things turn around you, they will always turn for you in your favor, because you will always know that you are strong and that love is your hub. Love is what is keeping you together. No matter how your family goes, no matter how your your finances go, no matter how you make your decisions or how you let go of certain decisions or how you approach creative projects or how you start new things, you will always be that Gemini sun, and you will always be able to know that you have that power to communicate, that power to think, that power to create with your thoughts, because everything is started with thoughts, right? And so with the Wheel of Fortune, it's almost like, what do you want your world to be? You have the hub, you have a strong hub, so what do you want to create around you? And I think that's the question, and perhaps that's what you need to make your decision about. And perhaps with the Wheel of Fortune being that outcome, you can know that no matter how you decide to move in life, you are strong and you have that strength at the center of who you are, and you will make the decisions that you make based on the strength and the love that you have at the center of your hub, of your wheel. And that if you do that, you will always know that no matter how the wheel turns, you made your best decision for you and for those around you, perhaps for your family. And you can always fall back on the fact that you did it out of love, the love in your heart and the strength in your heart, and everything turning around you is turning because you are leading it in the direction that you feel like it should go. But with the Wheel of Fortune, is also about fortune, right? Because sometimes fortune will shine on us and sometimes fortune won't shine on us. But there's always that idea that with the you now, you already have that joy with you right now. And so you can rest assured that right now you have that joy and that everything that is happening for your good. And so I just want to show you the spread before me. Just a sec. Was the spread for you, Gemini signs. I'm going to go in a little closer and show you what each card represented. So for you now, we had the 10 of Cups, Gemini suns. For this is your focus, we had the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. For difficult influences, we had the 10 of Swords reversed. For this makes sense, we had the Ace of Swords, which is at the top, right? So I was telling you that we have the Cups, the Swords, the Pentacles, and the Wands. We have the Wheel of the Fortune in the middle, and we have the Ace of Swords, which represents you because you are an air sign at the top there, almost like leading the decision. And so the next card we had was, the difficult influences was the 10 of Swords. This makes sense was the Ace of Swords. Unexpected insight was the King of Wands, and the outcome was the Wheel of Fortune. So that was your spread before me, Gemini suns. So that was your reading, Gemini suns. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a thumbs up on this video and comment down below if you feel like you want to. Feel free, and I would love it if you did subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell if you do subscribe, because then you will know when I release a new video. If you have already subscribed to my channel, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate your love and support. And my name is Mo Moon, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.